Hello and welcome back to Cowboys Insiders, your number one source of everything happening around the Dallas Cowboys and the Cowboys Insiders. No matter where you are watching from, whether you are turning from United States, where you are from Africa, Europe, or everywhere else around the world, we truly appreciate you for being here today on the Dallas Cowboys Today Updates. This is your home of Lily Cowboys news, Lily reaction, and Lily passion for the game. So now, before we dive into everything going on the NFL draft in the Dallas Cowboy, please make sure you take one quick second to support Cowboy Insiders. So if you are new here, go ahead to hit on the button subscribe and turn on notification so you will never miss any updates, breaking news, or on the Dallas Cowboy. And if you have been looking with us a while, we seriously appreciate your continued support. You guys are listening to this channel, keep glowing every single day. So let's talk about what's happening right now in the Dallas Cowboy. The NFL draft is officially underway, and this is where the future of the team is built. This is where a stars are discovered and where championship plans begin, and where a franchise like the Dallas Cowboys make the kind of decision that can change everything. Every pick, every move matters, and this year the Cowboys come into the draft with something to prove. After thought and disappointing season, all eyes are on the Dallas Cowboys. So the fans are expecting a big changes, smart decisions, and most importantly, players who can come in and make impact immediately into the Dallas Cowboys. So the pressure is high and the expectations are even high. And so far, the Cowboys are not holding back. This is not just another draft for the Dallas. This is a feels different. This is a feels like team that understand what went wrong and is now trying to fix in this right way. From aggressive trades to targeting key positions, everything we are seeing right now shows a front office that is serious about getting back to the top. And that's exactly what we are going to break down today in the Dallas Cowboy. So we are going to go through every major move, every key picks, and what it all means for the future of the Dallas Cowboy and the owner of the Dallas Cowboy, Jerry Jones. Are they building a championship defense? Are they making the right decision in the Dallas? And the most important, are the Cowboys finally ready to compete again at the highest level? So sit back, relax, and stay locked in because this is Cowboy Insiders, and today we are diving deep into the Dallas Cowboy 2026 NFL Draft Journal. The 2026 NFL Draft has officially kicked a night, and from the very first moments, it became clear that this year's events would be defining turning points for the several franchises. Among the teams drawing the most attention, early on were the Dallas Cowboy franchise under intense pressure to bounce back after disappointing 2025 season. With expectations high and fans demanding change, Dallas entered the draft with a clear sense of urgency and strategy that quickly began to unfold in dramatic fashion. Coming off 7-9-1 record, the Cowboys knew that standing still was not an option. The front office, led by the owner Jerry Jones, had already hinted in the off-season that significant roster adjustments were coming. but no one could have predicted just how aggressive and focused the approach would be once the draft began. Rather than playing it safe, the Dallas made broad moves that signaled a complete commitment to reshaping the identity of the team. Particularly on the defensive side of the ball, the first major moments for the Cowboys come early in the first round. Not content with the original draft position, the Dallas executed a strategic trade to move up the board, targeting one of the most highly regarded defensive prospects in entire class, Caleb Downs. Widely considered, Caleb Downs as the one of the smartest and the most versatile safeties available. Caleb Downs brings innate football intelligence, exceptional awareness, and ability to impact games immediately. His presence in the secondary is expected to address one of the Dallas' biggest weaknesses from last season, where a blown coverage and inconsistent safety play often cost them crucial games. So there is many things that makes Down such as a valuable addition is not just his physical talent, but his leadership and composure. So analysts have consistently described him as a day one difference maker, a player capable of organizing the defense and elevating those around him. For the Cowboys defense that struggled with consistency, his arrival could mark the beginning of a new era to build a discipline and execution. However, the Dallas was far from finished. Later in the first round, the Cowboys once again made headlines by maneuvering their ways into another favorable position to select Malachis Lawrence. These picks further emphasized their defensive overhaul, as Lawrence is widely known for his explosiveness off the edge and his ability to disrupt opposing quarterback. During his college career, he built reputations as a relentless pass rusher, combining speed, power, and techniques to consistently pressure offenses. The addition of Lawrence addresses another critical issues from previous season. While Dallas has flashes of strong defensive line play, they lacked the consistent pass rusher needed to compete with the league's top offenses. By bringing in Preyline Lawrence and Cowboys are clearly aiming to increase their ability to control games at the line of scrimmage, forcing a quarterback into mistakes and creating more turnover opportunities. As the draft continued into a later rounds, Dallas maintained its focus on building a depth and long-term potential. In the third round, they selected a Jason Balham, a versatile defender capable of playing a multiple role. Balham is considered as a high upside prospect known for his athleticism and flexibility. While he may not be as polished as the first round picks, and his ability to adapt and develop within the system make him an intriguing addition to the roster. This selection highlights an important aspect of the Cowboys draft philosophy this year. While they are clearly targeting immediate impact players, they are also investing in the future. Birmingham represents the kind of player who with the right coaching and development could become a key contributor in the years to come. So it is a balanced approach that suggests Dallas is not just thinking about the upcoming season, but about building a sustained success. So another significant element of the Cowboys' draft strategy has been their willingness to make a bold trades in addition to moving up in the draft order. The team has also been active in reshaping its roster through a players transaction. So these moves indicate front office that is full committed to transformation even if it means making a difficult decision in the short term. The message is clear and the mediocrity in no longer acceptable in the Dallas. From a broader perspective, the early stages of the NFL draft have revealed so this shift is particularly interesting given the team's historical emphasis on offensive firepower. It suggests a philosophical change, one that recognizes the importance of the balance and the ability to win a game through a defense. For the fans, this draft brings a renewed sense of the hope and excitement. The combination of innate talent, strategic planning, and aggressive decisions making has created the impression that the Cowboys are finally taking the necessary steps to return to championship contention. Of course, as with any draft, the true impact of these selections will only be known over time. Prospects must develop, adapt to the professional levels, and prove themselves on the field. Still, the early signs are promising by targeting a high-impact defensive players and demonstrating willingness to take calculated risks. Dallas has positioned itself as one of the most integrating teams to watch moving forward. So if there's a most translate into improved performance, the 2026 NFL draft could be remembered as the moment when the Cowboys began their resurgence. As the draft continue over the coming days, all eyes will remain on the Dallas to see how they build on this strong start. Will they continue to prioritize defense, or will they shift their focus on offensive weapons and the strategies and the future of American team? Honestly and passionately, this channel is built for the fans who want more than just headlines. We go deeper into what's really going on inside of organization, what moves could be coming next, and how each decision impact the Cowboys' journey toward becoming a championship team again. And the most importantly, this channel is not just about us, it's about you. Your opinion, your reactions, and your portions are what make this community special. So we want to hear from you every single time. Do you believe the Cowboys are building a Super Bowl team? I'm asking you fans, and let's meet in the comment section to answer these questions. Do you believe the Cowboys are building a Super Bowl team? The second is, what moves do you want to see next, and what should they draft? And drop your throat the comment, because your voice matters here more than anywhere else. We are on missions to grow one of the strongest Cowboys fans community on YouTube, and you are huge parts of the journal. So if you love the Dallas Cowboy, and if you like to believe football, and if you want a really consistent and exciting content, then you are the right place here. The Dallas Cowboy in the NFL draft of 2026 draft is one of the urgency, ambition, and calculated risk. As the draft unfolds, it has become increasingly clear that this is not just another routine roster building exercise for the Dallas. This is defining moment that could shape the franchise's future for years to come in the Dallas Cowboys. For the months leading up the draft, speculation surrounded what approaches the Cowboys would take. Would they play it safe and build a death? Or would they go all in, targeting an elite prospect who could immediately transform the team into a Super Bowl contender? So now as events develop, the answer seems to lean heavily toward aggressions and bold decisions making. At the center of it all, owner Jerry Jones, the figure known across the league for his willingness to take risks in pursuit of the greatness. This year, his influence is once again evidence. So, report from inside of the Cowboys organization, it suggests that Jones has been heavily involved in the draft. In the draft discussions, pushing for impact players rather than conservative selections. His vision is clear. A Dallas must not only compete but dominate other teams in the NFL this year. One of the most talked about areas for the Cowboys in this draft has been the offense. Despite having proven quarterback in Dak Prescott, the team recognizes that more firepower is needed. In today's NFL, explosive offenses win championship, and Dallas is determined to keep a pace with a league elite. As a result, the front office has been closely monitoring wide receiver and offensive playmaker who can stretch the field, create mismatches, and turn short plays into big gains. Insiders have revealed that the Cowboys have shown a serious interest in dynamic receiving talent. So a players with a narrowed speed, precise route learning, and the ability to perform under pressure. The goal is to give Prescott another weapon who can change the game at any moment, forcing defenses to adjust and opening up opportunities across the field. But offense is only half the story. The Cowboys defense anchored by superstar linebacker Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is already one of the most feared units of the league. However, the front office believes that adding the light pieces could elevate it to an entirely new level. So the edge rushers, a shutdown corner, and versatile defensive backs are all being evaluated as potential targets. Parsons in particular has become the centerpiece of the defensive strategy, and his ability to disrupt offenses, pressure quarterback, and make game-changing plays has made him one of the most valuable players in the entire NFL. The Cowboys draft strategy appears focused on surrounding him with complementary talent, players who can capitalize on the chores, and he creates and turns it into a turnover and defensive dominance. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the Dallas draft activity is the possibility of the trades. So throughout the day, rumors have intensified that the Cowboys are actively exploring deals to move up with the draft order. So this is not just something Dallas goes lightly, which makes the situation even more compelling. Moving up would likely to require sacrificing valuable picks, but the rewards could be landing a generational talent. A league sources suggest that the Cowboys have identified a small group of prospects they consider they must have players. So if one of these players begin to slide, Dallas could make a bold to move to secure them. These approaches reflect a franchise that understands the importance of inherent talent and is willing to pay the price to get it. At the same time, the Cowboys are being careful not to overlook the importance of the depth. So a later rounds of the draft are expected to focus on building a stronger and more balanced roster. Offensive linemen and linebackers and the rotational defensive players are all on the ladder of the Dallas Cowboys. So these selections may not generate headlines, but they are crucial for sustaining a success over a long NFL seasons. So another key factor influencing the Cowboys' decision is evaluating process. Coaches and scouts of the Dallas Cowboys have spent a countless hours analyzing a game film and conducting interviews, and also assessing the character of each prospect. For the Dallas, talent alone is not enough. They are just looking for players who bring a leadership in a team, discipline, and winning mentality, qualities that align with the character of the team is trying to build. So as the draft continues, reaction from the fans and analysts have been intense. Every pick is scrutinized, every decision debated. Cowboys fans, known for their passions and high expectations, are watching closely, hoping that this year draft will finally bring the missing pieces needed for a deep playoff run or even championship. The stakes could not be higher. The NFC is loaded with the strong team, and the margin for error is a laser thin. One great draft can propel a team to top, while a poor one can set it back for the years. So the Cowboys are full aware of this reality, which is why their approach this year feels different, more aggressive and more focused and more determined well. By the end of the 2026 NFL Draft may be remembered as the turning point for the Dallas Cowboys, whether through the board trades, smart selection, or combination of both, and the decisions made during this event will define the direction of the franchise. For now, all eyes remain on the Dallas. The picks are being made, the board is shifting, and the future is being than many expected. From NFL draft strategy to free agencies depth moves from a locker room leadership questions to offensive scheme adjustment, everything happening inside the star line now suggests this organization understands the pressure to finally return to a Super Bowl contention. One of the biggest talking points surrounding the Dallas remain a quarterback, Dak Prescott, and expectations placed on him entering another critical season. Prescott continues to face enormous pressure because the Cowboys have invested heavily in him as the face of franchise, but fans are demanding a postseason result instead of a regular season dominance. Inside a league cycle, many executives still believe Dak is one of the most efficient quarterbacks when protected by a stable offensive line and supported by a balanced run game. However, critics continue pointing towards a turnover in a key moment, a red zone inconsistencies, and struggles against elite playoff defenses as the major concerns that the Dallas must overcome if they want to make a deep January run. The Cowboys coaching staff reportedly spent much of the offseason studying ways to evolve the offensive scheme into a more explosive and unpredictable attack. Expect more pre-snap motions, heavier use of the play action concepts, quicker tempo packages, and expanded vertical route tree designed to maximize mismatches against opposing secondaries. Dallas understands the modern NFL is built around offensive flexibility, and sources around the league believes the Cowboys want to create an offense capable of attacking defenses at every level of the field instead of relying too heavily on isolation routes and conservation sequencing. A huge reason for optimism remains a superstar wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, who has evolved a yards after catch explosiveness and the ability to line up both outside and in the slot make him almost impossible to game plan against for 4 quarters. Coaches inside the organization reportedly want to move him around even more this season to create leverage advantages and force defenses into unfavorable coverage looks. League scouts believe Lamb is entering the absolute prime of his career, and there is growing feeling that the Dallas may build the entire offensive identity around his versatility moving forward. Meanwhile, the Cowboys running back room continues to be one of the most heavily debated units on the roster. So the Dallas has clearly been searching for a more explosiveness and consistency after struggling to establish a dominance on the ground in critical games that season. NFL insiders believe the organization wants more physical or downhill rushing identity combined with outside zone speed concept that can strengthen defenses horizontally. So the front office also appear committed to improving a short yardage efficiency. So something that became the frustrating weakness during a key moment last year. Analysts expect Dallas to continue evaluating veteran market options while simultaneously developing a younger back who fits the new offensive philosophy. The offensive line remains another central storyline because protecting Dak Prescott has become one of the franchise's top priorities. So injuries and inconsistencies affected the unit of different points last season, but the Cowboys still believe they possess foundational pieces capable of restoring a dominance in trenches. Dallas scout and the coaches have emphasized versatility, athleticism, and cross protection intelligence while evaluating alignment throughout the offseason. The organization reportedly wants to build the unit into a faster and more adaptable group capable of handling modern defensive pressure packages, especially against an elite NFL pass rusher. Defensively, the Cowboys continue building around superstar edge rusher Micah Parsons, who remains one of the most feared defenders in football. The Parsons has completely transformed the identity of the Cowboys defense with his elite burst, crossing a speed pass rusher versatility and relentless motor. Opposing offensive coordinator now build entire protection plans around limiting his impact, yet he still consistently creates pressure and game-changing plays. Around the league, many believe Parsons is not only the cornerstone on the Cowboys defense, but also one of the few defenders capable of completing taking over a playoff game by himself. There is also growing excitement surrounding a Dallas defensive depth and hybrid personnel packages. Coaches reportedly want to create a more disguised look before the snap, giving a quarterback fewer opportunities to identify the coverages and blitzes early. The Cowboys defense has become increasingly positionless in a certain situation, with a linebacker and safety expected to rotate responsibilities depending on matchups. That flexibility could become one of the biggest strengths of the roster if a younger defender continues developing at the pace the organization expects. So another major focus this offseason has been improving a run defense, especially after a several physical dominance. Opponents exposed weakness in the front seven during a critical stretches of the previous season. Dallas Cowboys understand that playoff football often becomes a battle of the physical in the trenches, and there is reportedly strong emphasis on adding a tough interior defenders capable of controlling gaps and collapsing lashing lanes. Coaches want a more disciplined unit that can maintain aggressions without sacrificing assignment integrity. The Cowboys front office, led by the owner Jerry Jones, continues to face enormous pressure from fans demanding a return to championship relevance. So Jones has repeatedly emphasized that the organization remains fully committed to winning now. And insiders around the NFL believe Dallas could continue making aggressive roster moves if opportunities arise during training camp or the regular season. The franchise understands that the patience among the fan base is wearing thin after years of the playoff disappointment, despite a strong regular season record. One of the most interesting aspects of the Cowboys offseason is how much attention the franchise has placed on leadership and locker room culture. Coaches reportedly want a stronger accountability across the roster, especially in high-pressure moments late in the games. So the veterans have been challenged to create a more disciplined and mentally resilient environment capable of handling adversity when expectations rise. So the Dallas has talent that has never been the issue. The really questions is whether this roster can finally translate a potential into a postseason execution. The NFC landscape is also becoming increasingly competitive, which means a Dallas cannot afford regulation. Teams across the conference continue improving through the draft and free agencies, and coaching changes are putting even more urgency of the Cowboys to maximize their championship window immediately. The analyst believes that the Cowboys roster still possesses enough elite talent to compete with any team in football, but consistent health and late season execution will ultimately determine whether this group become legitimate Super Bowl contender or another talented team that falls short under pressure. As a training camp approaches, also the expectation around the Dallas Cowboys remain enormous. Every practice lap, every depth chart battle, and every contract negotiation and every preseason performances will be analyzed intensely, because this franchise lives under a spotlight unlike almost any other organization in sport. Fans are desperate to see team capable of dominating physically, executing efficiently, and finally breaking through the postseason barrier that have haunted the organization for years. A draft and how those decisions will define their immediate future. At the center of this entire operation stands Jerry Jones, a figure whose influence on a franchise cannot be overstated. Jerry Jones has built his reputation on bold move, aggressive decisions, and the unwavering belief that the Cowboys should always be contenders. Unlike many organizations that embrace a long-term rebuild, Dallas operates with a win-now mentality, and that philosophy is clearly reflected in how they approach the draft. Every pick is not just about potential, it is about an immediate impact. It is about finding the players who can step into a high-pressure environment and delivers results from a moment they arrive. The foundations of the current Cowboys roster is strong, and it begins with a quarterback, Dak Prescott, where Dak Prescott has been the leader of the team for years, and while his performances have often been impressive and the narrative surrounding him to become increasingly tied to postseason success. The rectangular season consistency is no longer enough. The expectations now is clear. Take the team deeper into a playoff and compete for a championship. Supporting Prescott is one of the league's most dynamic wide receivers in CeeDee Lamb, whose ability to create separations, make explosive plays, and dominate defenses has made him a cornerstone of the offense. Together, they form a partnership that has the potential to be one of the most dangerous in the NFL. But even that is not sufficient, but the right supporting case cost. On the defensive side of the ball, Micah Parsons has emerged as a generational talent. And Micah Parsons is not just a linebacker, he is a complete defensive weapon capable of flashing the passer, dropping into the coverage, and disrupting a plays in ways that few players in the league can replicate. His presence alone changes how opposing offenses prepare for the Cowboys. However, the team has recognized that relying too heavily on one player, no matter how talented, is not sustainable strategy. The draft therefore becomes an opportunity to build a defensive unit that complements a Parsons. One of the most pressing concerns for the Dallas heading into this draft is the offensive line. Once considered the gold standard of the NFL, the Cowboys' offensive line has experienced a gradual decline due to the injuries, aging players, and a lost turnover. Protecting a Dak Prescott has become an absolute priority, not just to maintain offensive efficiency, but to ensure the long-term health and effectiveness of the quarterback position. The front office is acutely aware that without the strong and reliable offensive line, even the most talented offense can struggle. As a result, the Cowboys are expected to invest heavily in a lineman who combine a physical strength, technical skills, and the mental awareness needed to adapt a speed of professional game. Beyond the trenches, the Cowboys are also focused on adding a depth and versatility to the defensive unit.